Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. I contemplated heavily whether or not I was going to do a April Fool's video. I am not, but we are here today because Daredevil Modern is releasing later on today, and so I need to, start things off with the Vigilantes team with my Should You Core Daredevil Modern. So we're going to be taking a look at him. We're going to be taking a look at his kit. We're going to deep dive his stats, all of that stuff, so we can get to the end of that and decide whether or not that it's worth coring for him when he comes out later on today, or what we should do with regards to this team. I've heard some mixed things when it comes to the team overall. It's probably no Spider Society when they came out, but we'll see, right? So let's boil this down. Okay, so as usual, I do want to start off here with the stats table. I want to take a look at Daredevil's stats and where he stacks up with the other characters. Now, to be clear, that Daredevil's a protector character, and I think he's also jointly the healer. I think he's the tank and the healer. I'm pretty sure, kind of like Miss Marvel Classic. So MMC for short. She basically does both, and she does the healing for the team. So I'm interested to see where he actually, I don't even know why I did that. He's like right there at the top, actually. So health, he is number 6. That is a pretty solid stat standing. So I do like that. 16.6 million. Now, this is, the numbers don't matter that much, but it is maxed out basically Raider through Purple 3. Oh, wait, and Gear Tier 20. Maybe we should scale that back just a touch, anyways. So there we go. Scale by health. He's still number 6 anyways, and that's about third. So he's about the same as Phoenix's rework, but just a little bit more than Sam, and a little bit less than Null. So I would say fairly impressive, given the fact that the people above him are quite beefy characters. Let's see where he stacks up on the damage side of things, though. Let's go find Daredevil Modern. He's 14 in damage. That's pretty good for a tank character. So his damage is still going to be pretty good that way. I mean, he is the tank. So he's number 5 in armor. Okay, so he has the health. He's got the armor, and his damage is actually pretty good as well. Let's take a look at his focus. 47. I don't know how many debuffs he actually has. We'll have to take a look at his kit. I'll be honest, this is like my first time going over his kit in quite some time, because the reason why I do these videos is because I feel like maybe a lot of other people are like me, and they kind of gloss over things when the envoys or otherwise put it out like weeks in advance, but before you really get the characters. And so that's kind of why I do these videos as well. His resistance is 13. So honestly, he has some pretty solid stats. His focus is his worst stat, but I don't know how big of a deal that really is. His speed, where does he stack up on the speed? I expect him to be kind of slow, right? 118. So it's not really big of a deal. I think as far as the turn order goes, he's probably going to be close to last, right? Maybe Punisher's a little bit slower than him. Not sure. So let's take a look, though, at his kit. So he is, obviously, Skill, Protector, Vigilante, Hero City. Okay. I think the biggest question here that there might be is this team, or are these characters, especially the new characters, Daredevil, Hitmonkey, and Silver Sable, are they going to be going to the Xavier Saga, right? Are you going to G20 them? And the problem with this team is what we're going to see in the kit is that they're very reliant on the full team. So are we going to axe Blade and Oath and have to take like Punisher and Elektra? Just kind of crazy. So anyways, I want to, we'll just go from the top, I suppose. So his primary is 280%, and then he does a rebound. I think that's the first time I've seen a basic rebound. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I don't know why I said that. No, there's like Symbiote Spider-Man and stuff like that. I'm not sure why I said that. Flip 3 negatives. That's pretty good, though. 2 positives on self and all vigilante allies. I don't think this is really a striker action, so you're probably going to have him as a raider. His special applies slow for 2 turns, defense down for 2 turns, and offense. So he does have a lot of debuffs. So the focus is slightly relevant. He's a new era character, so that might help. But maybe in low stars, you might need to run Skirmisher if you're having issues. I guess if you're trying to do like D5 raids, this could be a problem, maybe. In raids, flip all negative effects into positive effects on self and all vigilante allies. That's nice, and he's healing as well, right? And then he's taunting, so he's healing and taunting. So he's doing both roles at the same time. He's only buffing himself, though, with defense up. I haven't taken a look at the whole team again. I forget like what buffs are given out everywhere. His ultimate uh, primary and adjacent targets for 380 plus vulnerable. There's they're basically taking advantage of the vulnerable mechanic. This entire team. He has cleansing his entire team, including all allies. So that's nice, right? If we do decide to take him to the Xavier Saga, taunt for 2 turns, and then here we go, defense up and immunity for self and all vigilante allies, and then another heal as well on spawn. So this is what I'm talking about, is that he's got all this 4 or more vigilante allies, but this stuff is available outside of raids. So that's what I mean, is like, are we going to have to take Punisher and Elektra to the Xavier Saga as well and not take Blade? I've already leveled Blade and Oath to 105, right? That was the recommendation by Scopely, was Blade, Oath, and the other, and I guess what was presumed, the 3 new Vigilante characters. But there's just something about this kit. Like, this is fine. This is fine with the full team. Safeguard for 1 turn, so that's fine, right? All this is good stuff. All this is good stuff. 2 deflect, defense up, immunity. This is great. This is amazing. But it requires 4 characters. Actually, you know what? This might work. This might work outside of the 4. It might just be this that's related to the 4 or more. So that's something to know as well. When an enemy with vulnerable is attacked, heal self and all vigilante allies for 5%. So it's a fair bit of this character's max health. So star levels, stats on Daredevil is going to matter. In raids, it heals for 20% instead and clears a negative effect. But even that 5% in like the Xavier Saga is probably going to be pretty helpful. What's interesting is he gives 100% accuracy. Okay, so does he get this? Sometimes when it states like this, it's supposed to say like Daredevil gains 100% accuracy and vigilante allies gain 100% accuracy. I'm not sure if this is actually giving it to him, but maybe he's already got. Maybe it's caked into because it's Daredevil, right? If I remember the old Daredevil, I think that he already had the accuracy of 200%. So that might be the case. Actually, can we go back and check? Was there an accuracy? I thought there was a part here with. Is it further over? Oh god, I can't even like. Do I need to zoom out? Oh shit. Okay, so where's Daredevil? Yeah, he is at 200%. Okay, we solved that question. Great. Block chance, block amount, 4 or more vigilante allies. Again, they cannot gain bleed. So again, some really great stuff in the kit, but it's just sadly blocked behind the full team. Now, the good thing, though, is that if you do decide to take Punisher to G20, he is very cheap to build. He's like 2 pieces of skill, because way back in the day, I took Punisher to Dark Dimension all the way up to 3 or 4, like, because he was so cheap, and City was just garbage, and there was just no good options on offense. If this character has 4 more Vigilante allies, lower the damage. So, again, I think we're looking at the full Vigilante team to Xavier Saga. It's just slightly disappointing because I already leveled up my Blade and Oath, but it is what it is, I suppose. So he's got a good kit, but the thing is that it's not active without the full team. So the necessity to have him now is not very good. Let's take a look at his uniques. Is Shield Tech for whatever reason. Anyways, he's using Shield Tech for his unique, and his stats are very good. So I think we're seeing a little bit of power creep on Daredevil as well. So as far as the stats, I meant to say stat creep, but some pretty good stuff. He only requires 3 pieces here, which is usual for most characters. So I'm kind of happy about that. I'm happy about his kit, aside from the fact that it just, needs like the entire team. That's all. So yeah, as far as ISOs go, if you do pick him up right away, I think that I probably would give him the Raider ISO. I think that's my initial impression. However, with all the debuffs, I don't think it's going to be a big issue by the time the full team comes out. Because I do want to take a look at Elektra. If I'm not mistaken, I thought Elektra had like a focus passive or something from Shadowlands. So I just wanted to double check the kit again. Maybe I must be wrong. I thought there was something in it that gave, maybe somebody else gives focus. I'm not sure, but either way, he's like 44, right? So I'm a little bit concerned that he might at low stars might need skirmisher, but maybe after that, Raider would probably be best at that point. The other thing that I want to take a look at is the missions, because if the vigilante missions should be in the game now, so you should be able to take a look at them, and that gives us an idea of whether or not that there's any value there. Daredevil Modern Story Mode, we can take a look at that. We can take a look at chapter 2, because that's when you're going to actually unlock them, as far as what you get out of these by doing it. And it's not nearly as good as when we had event stores, right? you know, during September through December, that kind of stuff, when you unlock characters early, you would unlock these nodes and you would be able to farm the currency, what have you, the candy, the turkeys, snow globes, etc. So you're not really getting that here. So again, not a really good reason to want to unlock them early, because we don't really care about this stuff, right? Like, you can get plenty of this stuff in the game already. And so this is at 5 yellow now, and it's just not really a big deal. So I think that leads us to the final question answer here, is Daredevil worth your cores to do it today? And I would probably have to say no, but you might want to make sure that he's unlocked by the time that Hitmonkey comes out, right? Because keep in mind that Hitmonkey is going to be the last. I'm pretty sure it's Daredevil, Silver Sable, and then Hitmonkey. April Fools. We didn't really talk about this. I'm not doing this in today's video, but it was a fun little gag here with the portraits and whatnot. But yeah, I think that if by the time Hitmonkey is released to the game, which would be like closer to the end of April, and if Daredevil Modern isn't available free to play, that's a bit of a problem, right? Because I would probably more inclined to core the last character. Given the fact that you need the entire team in order to properly operate, I don't think there's any impetus to unlock Daredevil early. I'm probably going to say the same thing about Silver Sable as well, because usually it's the last character that makes the big deal. And if you guys remember from like Alpha Flight, like way back when, like it was all about unlocking Sasquatch so that you could get the full team together and you could start doing the raids properly. That's what I think here. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Otherwise, have a great rest of the day. Maybe there'll be a video out later as well. We'll see. Bye. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.